Discovery and assessment. The sleek silver craft glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its sensors probing the vast emptiness for signs of life. Aboard the vessel, Scout Commander Zixtal of the Galactic Exploration Fleet studied the holographic display with growing excitement. After centuries of searching, they had finally found what appeared to be a promising candidate for intelligent life. "Report," Zixtal commanded, their four eyes fixed on the slowly rotating blue-green orb before them. Science Officer Neralith's tentacles danced across the control panel as she compiled the data. Preliminary scans indicate a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, vast bodies of liquid water, and a wide variety of flora and fauna. But most intriguingly, Commander, we're detecting clear signs of artificial structures and electromagnetic emissions consistent with a civilization in its early stages of technological development. Zixtal's skin rippled with anticipation. "Excellent work, Neralith. Initiate standard first contact protocols. We'll begin with passive observation." As the alien vessel took up a concealed orbit behind the planet's moon, the crew watched in fascination as the story of humanity began to unfold before them. They observed sprawling cities teeming with life, vast networks of transportation and communication, and the first tentative steps into space exploration. But it wasn't long before Zixtal noticed something troubling. "Neralith, am I seeing this correctly? These beings seem to be in a constant state of conflict." The science officer nodded grimly. "You are correct, Commander. Our historical analysis indicates that these humans, as they call themselves, have engaged in near-constant warfare throughout their recorded history. Even now, with the capability to destroy their entire civilization, they continue to fight among themselves." Zixtal's frill darkened with concern. "And yet, they survive. They thrive even. How is this possible?" "That's what's truly remarkable, Commander," Neralith explained, pulling up a series of graphs and charts. "Despite their propensity for violence, or perhaps because of it, humans have developed an unparalleled ability to adapt and innovate. Their rate of technological progress is unlike anything we've ever seen." For weeks, the alien observers watched and analyzed. They saw humans overcome natural disasters with ingenuity and determination. They witnessed acts of incredible bravery and self-sacrifice alongside displays of cruelty and destruction. The contradictions were as fascinating as they were alarming. As the data poured in, Zixtal knew that this discovery was far too significant to handle alone. With a heavy heart, they composed a message to Galactic Central Command. "Have discovered pre-FTL species with unprecedented potential for both creation and destruction. Request immediate deployment of evaluation fleet for comprehensive assessment." The response was swift. Within days, a massive fleet of ships materialized in the solar system, their advanced cloaking technology rendering them invisible to Earth's primitive sensors. Leading the fleet was Grand Evaluator Krelon, one of the most respected minds in the galaxy. Krelon wasted no time. "Commander Zixtal, your initial report was disturbing, to say the least. We need to understand the full capabilities and potential of these humans before we can decide how to proceed." And so began one of the most extensive evaluation processes in galactic history. The aliens deployed millions of nanoscale observation devices across the planet, gathering data on every aspect of human life. They analyzed human biology, psychology, social structures, and technology with meticulous care. But it was the military assessment that truly sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Krelon and his team ran countless simulations, pitting virtual human forces against various alien military scenarios. This can't be right," Krelon muttered, staring at the results in disbelief. "Run it again." But no matter how many times they ran the simulations, the results were the same. Whether faced with overwhelming technological superiority or even stripped of their advanced weapons, humans displayed an almost supernatural ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome. In one particularly chilling simulation, a small group of humans, armed with nothing more than primitive projectile weapons, managed to capture an alien battlecruiser through sheer tenacity and cunning. Within weeks, they had reverse-engineered much of the alien technology and were using it against their would-be conquerors. As the evaluation neared its conclusion, a somber mood settled over the fleet. The potential of humanity was undeniable, but so was the danger they posed. Krelon called a final meeting of the senior staff to discuss their findings. "We have never encountered a species quite like this," Krelon began, his voice heavy with the weight of their discovery. "Their capacity for violence is matched only by their creativity and resilience. If they were to gain access to galactic-level technology in their current state, the implications hung in the air, unspoken but understood by all. Humanity, with its warrior spirit and relentless drive, could become an unstoppable force in the galaxy, for better or for worse." Zixtel, who had watched humanity the longest, spoke up. "But we've also seen their capacity for kindness, for cooperation. Surely, with proper guidance." Krelon cut them off with a wave of his hand. "The risk is too great. We cannot take the chance that their violent tendencies will win out. For the safety of the galaxy, we have no choice." With a heavy heart, Krelon drafted the recommendation that would shape the fate of humanity for centuries to come. Species: human. Homeworld: Earth. Threat assessment: extreme. Recommendation: immediate quarantine. No contact to be initiated until species demonstrates sufficient social and ethical advancement to mitigate warrior tendencies. Estimated timeframe for reassessment: 1,000 standard galactic years. As the alien fleet prepared to depart, leaving behind only automated observation posts to enforce the quarantine, Zixtel took one last look at the beautiful blue planet below. They couldn't help but wonder what incredible achievements, or terrible devastation, humanity might accomplish in the centuries to come. Little did the aliens know that their decision would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge their assumptions and shake the very foundations of galactic society. For humanity, oblivious to the watchful eyes above, was about to embark on its greatest adventure yet. The simulations. As the quarantine of Earth entered its first decade, the Galactic Council's curiosity about humanity only grew. The automated observation posts left behind by Krelon's fleet dutifully collected data, but many felt that passive observation wasn't enough. They needed to understand how humans would react in various scenarios, especially those involving extraterrestrial contact and conflict. Enter Dr. Vexera, the galaxy's preeminent xenopsychologist and master of the Galactic Council's most advanced simulation technology. Her lab, a massive space station orbiting a distant neutron star, housed quantum computers capable of modeling entire civilizations with uncanny accuracy. "We've never attempted anything on this scale before," Vexera explained to the assembled Galactic Council representatives. Her holographic form flickered slightly as she gestured to the complex web of data streams surrounding her. "But the potential threat posed by humanity demands our most thorough analysis." The council murmured in agreement. They had all read the reports, seen the footage. Humans were a paradox, capable of both heartwarming compassion and chilling brutality, often in the same breath. "We will run a series of simulations," Vexera continued, "each designed to test different aspects of human nature and their potential responses to various galactic scenarios. The results will help us determine if the quarantine should be maintained, strengthened, or reconsidered." The first simulation was relatively straightforward. First contact with a peaceful alien race. The humans reacted with a mix of fear, wonder, and curiosity. Fairly standard for a young species, but it was their rate of adaptation that shocked the observers. Within months of the simulated contact, humans had reverse-engineered alien technology and were pushing the boundaries of what their new alien friends thought possible. "Remarkable," muttered Counselor Genlo, his crystalline form shimmering with excitement. "But how would they fare against a more aggressive species?" Vexera nodded grimly and initiated the next simulation. This time, Earth faced an invasion by a warlike alien empire, one with technology centuries beyond humanity's reach. The Council watched in stunned silence as the simulated humans, despite overwhelming odds, fought back with a ferocity that bordered on madness. Cities were leveled, continents scorched, but the humans refused to yield. They formed a global alliance, pooling their resources and setting aside age-old rivalries. Their scientists worked tirelessly, adapting alien technology for their own use. Guerrilla tactics kept the invaders off balance, and human spies managed to infiltrate even the most secure alien bases. "By the cosmic core," whispered Counselor Iril, her tentacles writhing in distress. "They're winning." Indeed, after 5 years of brutal conflict, the simulated human forces had not only repelled the invasion, but had captured enough alien ships to mount a counteroffensive. The fallen invaders' homeworld soon found itself under siege by the very species it had tried to conquer. Vexera's team ran simulation after simulation, each more complex than the last. They modeled scenarios where humans were uplifted and given advanced technology, others where they were subjected to subtle manipulation over centuries. They even ran simulations stripping humans of all technology, curious to see how they would fare with nothing but their wits and the resources of their planet. The results were always the same. Humanity survived, adapted, and eventually thrived, often in ways that defied conventional galactic wisdom. "There's something we're missing," Vexera mused, her holographic brow furrowed in concentration. "Some quality that our models can't quite capture." It was Zixtal, the scout who had first discovered Earth, who provided the insight they needed. "It's their contradictions," they said softly. "Humans don't just overcome external threats. They're constantly fighting themselves, pushing against their own limitations. It's as if their entire history is a battle against their own nature." This observation led to a new series of simulations, focusing on humanity's internal conflicts and how they drove progress. The Council watched in fascination as simulated humans tackled climate change, overpopulation, and dwindling resources. Each crisis pushed them to new heights of innovation and cooperation, but also revealed the darkest aspects of their nature. "It's like watching a species perpetually on the brink of self-destruction," noted Counselor Drellickson, yet always pulling back at the last moment, emerging stronger. As the simulations progressed, a disturbing pattern emerged. No matter the scenario, a significant percentage of humans always pushed for expansion beyond their home planet. Their drive to explore, to push boundaries, seemed hardwired into their very being. "What happens," asked a junior counselor, "if we maintain the quarantine indefinitely? Will it contain them?" Vexera initiated one final simulation. This one projected centuries into the future, modeling human progress within the confines of their solar system. The Council watched as the quarantined humans colonized their moon, then Mars, then pushed outward to the asteroid belt and the moons of the gas giants. But they didn't stop there. With no knowledge of the wider galactic community waiting beyond, the simulated humans poured their resources into developing faster-than-light travel. Their methods were unorthodox, even dangerous by galactic standards, but undeniably effective. The simulation ended with a human scout ship emerging from a crudely formed wormhole, right in the heart of Galactic Council space. The implications were clear. Even without outside interference, humanity would eventually break free of their quarantine. As the final data streams faded, a heavy silence fell over the Council chamber. The simulations had proven beyond doubt that humanity was unlike anything the galaxy had encountered before. Their potential was immense, but so were the risks they posed. "We need to face facts," Vexera said, her holographic form seeming to age before their eyes. The quarantine was never going to be a permanent solution. It was merely a delay. Zixtal spoke up, their voice filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "So the question isn't whether humanity will join the galactic community, but when and how." They paused, looking around at their fellow council members. "And whether we'll be ready for them when they do." The council erupted into heated debate. Some argued for stricter isolation protocols, others for cautious preparation for eventual contact. A few radical voices even suggested preemptive action to neutralize the human threat before it could fully emerge. As the arguments raged, Vexera stood silently, her mind racing. The simulations had shown her something that the others hadn't yet grasped. Humanity wasn't just a potential threat or a curiosity. They represented a fundamental challenge to the galactic status quo. Their very existence would force the older races to adapt, to grow in ways they hadn't for millennia. The real question, Vexera realized, wasn't whether the galaxy was ready for humanity. It was whether humanity, in all its beautiful, terrifying potential, was ready for the galaxy. As she prepared to share her thoughts with the Council, alarms began blaring throughout the station. A junior aide burst into the chamber, his scales pale with shock. "Counselors," he gasped, "we've just received word from the Sol System observation post. There's been an incident. The quarantine. It's been breached." The quarantine debate. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the vast, amphitheater-like space, their varied forms a testament to the diversity of life in the cosmos. At the center, suspended in a shimmering energy field, was a holographic representation of Earth, slowly rotating as if to remind everyone of the gravity of the situation. High Counselor Zhenlo, his crystalline form glittering under the chamber's lights, called the emergency session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," he began, his voice resonating through the chamber, "we face a decision that may well shape the future of our galactic community. The quarantine of Earth has been breached." A wave of murmurs swept through the assembly. Zhenlo continued, "A human exploration vessel, using what appears to be a primitive form of warp drive, has penetrated the barrier we placed around their solar system. They are now in open space, unaware of the greater galactic community, and on a trajectory that will soon bring them into contact with the Proxima colony." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some representatives called for immediate action to capture the human ship and return it to Earth. Others argued for allowing events to unfold naturally. Still others demanded a complete reassessment of the quarantine policy. Counselor Ryrol, her tentacles writhing with agitation, rose to speak. "We cannot allow this reckless species to roam free in our galaxy. The simulations have shown their potential for violence, for conquest. We must act now to contain this threat." Her words were met with a mix of cheers and boos. The division in the council was clear. Next to speak was Dr. Vexera, the xenopsychologist who had overseen the human simulations. Her holographic form flickered as she addressed the assembly. "Colleagues, I urge caution. Yes, the simulations have shown humanity's capacity for violence, but they've also revealed their incredible potential for growth, adaptation, and cooperation. We must not judge them solely on their past or our fears." The debate raged for hours. Representatives presented arguments based on legal precedents, ethical considerations, and strategic implications. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, debated by beings they didn't even know existed. As the arguments circled back on themselves, a new voice cut through the clamor. It was Zixtal, the scout who had first discovered Earth. "Esteemed counselors," they began, their voice soft but carrying a weight that silenced the chamber, "I have spent more time observing humans than anyone in this room. I've seen their cruelty, yes, but I've also witnessed their kindness, their creativity, their relentless drive to improve themselves and their world." Zixtal paused, letting their words sink in. "We call ourselves an advanced civilization, yet we cower in fear of a young species taking its first steps into the cosmos. Are we so insecure in our own strength, our own values, that we would condemn an entire race to isolation based on our projections and fears?" The chamber was silent now, all eyes on Zixtal. "I propose a middle path," they continued. "Instead of strengthening the quarantine or abandoning it entirely, let us prepare for controlled contact. We can guide humanity, help them channel their energies toward peaceful cooperation rather than conflict. High Counselor Genlo's crystalline form shimmered as he considered Zixtal's words. An intriguing proposal, he mused. But how do you suggest we implement such a plan? Before Zixtal could respond, the chamber's main display lit up with an urgent message. The human ship had changed course, accelerating toward the Proxima colony at an unprecedented speed for their level of technology. It seems, Genlo said gravely, that events are forcing our hand. We must make a decision now. The council voted, their choices registered in flashes of light across the chamber. The result was close, but clear. The quarantine would be cautiously lifted, and a diplomatic mission would be sent to intercept the human ship before it reached Proxima colony. As the council adjourned, Dr. Vexera approached Zixtal. That was a risky move, she said, her holographic form flickering with what might have been admiration. You've tied your fate to that of the humans now. Zixtal nodded solemnly. Perhaps, but I believe it was the right thing to do. These humans, they're not just another species to be studied or contained. They could be the catalyst our galaxy needs. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth ship Horizon, Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her eyes wide with wonder as she stared at the view screen. The stars streaked by in a dazzling display of light, a sight no human had ever witnessed before. Status report, she called out, her voice steady despite the excitement coursing through her. Her first officer, Commander Akira Tanaka, responded promptly. All systems nominal, Captain. Our experimental warp drive is performing beyond expectations. At our current velocity, we'll reach the Proxima Centauri system in less than a week. Elena nodded, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. This mission was the culmination of decades of work, a joint effort by Earth's nations to reach beyond their solar system. They had no idea that they were about to make history in ways they couldn't possibly imagine. As the Horizon continued its journey, blissfully unaware of the galactic debate it had sparked, the Galactic Council's diplomatic mission raced to intercept them. Led by Ambassador Lyerthal, a veteran diplomat known for her skill in handling first-contact situations, the mission carried the hopes and fears of 1,000 worlds. Aboard the diplomatic vessel, named Stellar Envoy, Ambassador Lyerthal briefed her team. Remember, she said, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with each word, these humans have no knowledge of galactic society. They believe themselves to be alone in the universe. Our approach must be careful, measured, and above all, peaceful. Her second-in-command, a towering insectoid named Clix, clicked his mandibles in agreement. But what if they react with hostility? The simulations suggest a high probability of an aggressive response to unexpected contact. Lyerthal's skin dimmed slightly, a sign of her serious consideration. We must be prepared for any eventuality, but I believe in giving them a chance. We are not here to confirm our worst fears, but to open a dialogue. As both ships hurtled through space on a collision course with destiny, back on Earth, things were far from quiet. In the headquarters of the United Earth Space Agency, alarms blared as technicians scrambled to make sense of the data streaming in from their long-range sensors. Director John Way stared at the main screen, his face a mask of disbelief. "Confirm that reading," he ordered, his voice tight with tension. A young technician, her hands shaking slightly, responded, "Confirmed, sir. We're detecting an unknown object on an intercept course with the Horizon. It's moving at speeds we thought impossible." John Way closed his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. When he opened them, they were filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "Contact the Security Council immediately. It seems we're not as alone out here as we thought." As news of the approaching object spread through the highest levels of Earth's governments, reactions varied wildly. Some called for immediate military mobilization, while others argued for caution and attempts at peaceful communication. In a secure bunker beneath Washington, D.C., the President of the United States conferred with her top advisors. "What are our options?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The Secretary of Defense spoke up first. Madam President, I recommend we activate the Safeguard Protocol. We've been preparing for this possibility for years. The Safeguard Protocol was a classified plan developed in secret by a coalition of Earth's most powerful nations. It outlined steps to be taken in the event of confirmed extraterrestrial contact, including the rapid militarization of space and the deployment of experimental weapon systems. The President frowned, considering the implications. And if these beings come in peace, we could be starting an interstellar war out of fear and misunderstanding. As debates raged on Earth, the Horizon continued its journey, still unaware of the approaching stellar envoy or the monumental changes about to unfold. Captain Rodriguez was in her quarters, recording a log entry, when the ship's AI interrupted her. "Captain, we're detecting an anomaly ahead. It appears to be a ship, but it's unlike anything in our database." Alina's heart raced as she rushed to the bridge. The view screen showed a sleek, otherworldly vessel that seemed to shimmer and shift as if it wasn't entirely in phase with normal space. "Open a channel," Alina ordered, her voice surprisingly calm given the circumstances. "To the unknown vessel, this is Captain Alina Rodriguez of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace and seek peaceful contact." Aboard the stellar envoy, Ambassador Lyerthal felt a surge of hope as the human transmission came through. "They're reaching out peacefully," she said to her team. "This is a good sign. Prepare for visual contact." As the two ships drew closer, tensions ran high on both sides. The fate of humanity and the future of galactic relations hung in the balance. Would this encounter lead to a new era of cooperation and shared discovery? Or would ancient fears and misunderstandings plunge the galaxy into conflict? On the Horizon's bridge, the view screen flickered to life, revealing Ambassador Lyerthal's alien visage to human eyes for the first time. There was a collective gasp from the crew, a mixture of awe, fear, and wonder. Lyerthal spoke, her words translated in real time by the advanced systems of the stellar envoy. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace and with an open hand of friendship. Welcome to the galactic community." Captain Rodriguez, her voice slightly shaky but filled with determination, responded, "On behalf of humanity, we return your greeting of peace. We have so many questions." As this historic conversation unfolded, watched breathlessly by the crews of both ships, the news was spreading across Earth like wildfire. Governments scrambled to respond. Religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts, and ordinary citizens looked to the stars with new eyes, wondering what this new chapter in human history would bring. In the Galactic Council chamber, High Counselor Zhenlo watched the first contact unfold via a secure feed. "And so it begins," he murmured, his crystalline form shimmering with a mix of hope and trepidation. "May the cosmos grant us wisdom in the days to come." The quarantine was over. Humanity had taken its first, stumbling steps onto the galactic stage. What followed would reshape the destiny of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The age of isolation was ending. The age of discovery, challenge, and unprecedented opportunity was just beginning. As Captain Rodriguez and Ambassador Lyerthal continued their historic dialogue, neither fully grasped the magnitude of this moment. Two civilizations, two ways of seeing the universe, were about to collide in a meeting that would echo through the cosmos for millennia to come. The story of humanity's journey among the stars was only just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity's oblivious progress. As the galactic debate raged on and preparations for first contact were underway, life on Earth continued, blissfully unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding just beyond their solar system. The quarantine, while isolating humanity from the wider galactic community, had inadvertently created a unique petri dish of innovation and progress. In the decades following the Council's decision, humanity experienced a renaissance of scientific and cultural advancement. The initial disappointment of being confined to their solar system had given way to a renewed focus on solving Earth's problems and pushing the boundaries of their limited cosmic neighborhood. Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a holographic display of the solar system in the United Earth Space Agency's headquarters. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement as she addressed the assembled team of scientists and engineers. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice carrying a hint of her Mumbai origins, "I'm pleased to announce that Project Helios has exceeded all expectations. Our Dyson swarm around Mercury is now operating at 78% efficiency, providing clean, virtually limitless energy to Earth and our off-world colonies." A round of applause filled the room. The Helios project had been a monumental undertaking, requiring unprecedented levels of international cooperation. It had not only solved Earth's energy crisis, but had also provided the power needed to accelerate space exploration and colonization efforts. Meanwhile, on Mars, the first generation of true Martians was coming of age. In the sprawling underground city of Eris Prime, Zhou Chen, a 20-year-old student of exobiology, peered through a high-powered microscope at a sample of Martian soil. "Professor Hammond," she called out, barely containing her excitement, "I think I've found something." Professor Jack Hammond, a grizzled veteran of the first Mars missions, hurried over. His eyes widened as he looked at Zhou's discovery. "My God," he whispered, "is that cellular structure?" Zhou nodded vigorously. "It's primitive, but it's definitely organic. We've just discovered the first concrete evidence of life on Mars." As news of the discovery spread, it reignited humanity's passion for space exploration. If simple life could exist on Mars, what other wonders might be waiting in the further reaches of the solar system? Back on Earth, in the gleaming towers of New Shanghai, Li Wei, CEO of Quantum Horizons, was about to make an announcement that would change the course of human history. For years, Li began, addressing a global audience via holostream. "We've been pushing the boundaries of quantum computing. Today, I'm thrilled to announce that we've achieved quantum supremacy on a scale previously thought impossible." He paused, letting the magnitude of his words sink in. "With this breakthrough, we're not just talking about faster internet or more efficient financial models. We're talking about unlocking the secrets of protein folding, revolutionizing materials science, and yes, potentially cracking the code of faster-than-light travel." Unbeknownst to Li and his team, their quantum breakthrough had not gone unnoticed. On the edge of the solar system, hidden behind the dwarf planet Eris, an alien observation post registered a massive spike in computational power emanating from Earth. Exorlak, the Xylorian scientist in charge of the post, felt his dorsal spines quiver with excitement. "By the cosmic core," he muttered, "these humans are progressing faster than anyone anticipated. We need to alert the Council immediately." As Torlak composed his urgent message to the Galactic Council, humanity continued its relentless march of progress, unaware of the alien eyes watching their every move. In the asteroid belt, the mining colony of Cirrus Base had become a hotbed of innovation in material science. Dr. Elena Volkov, lead researcher at the Zero-G Materials Lab, was putting the finishing touches on a presentation that would showcase their latest breakthrough. "Graphene was just the beginning," she explained to her team. "This new carbon lattice structure we've developed in microgravity conditions is 200 times stronger than steel, completely transparent, and can conduct electricity more efficiently than any known material. The applications are endless, from space elevator cables to advanced computing substrates." As humanity expanded its footprint across the solar system, it also turned its gaze inward, tackling age-old problems with renewed vigor and advanced technology. In the heart of the African Continental Alliance, a massive project was underway to reverse desertification and create a green belt across the Sahara. Drones swarmed across the landscape, planting genetically engineered seeds designed to thrive in the harsh conditions and gradually transform the ecosystem. Dr. Kwame Osei, the project's lead ecologist, stood on a view platform, watching the drones at work. "In just 5 years," he said to a group of visiting dignitaries, "we've reclaimed over 100,000 square kilometers of desert. By the end of the decade, we'll have created a carbon sink large enough to significantly impact global climate patterns. The project was just one example of humanity's newfound commitment to environmental stewardship. Similar initiatives were underway in the Amazon, the Arctic, and the world's oceans, all aimed at healing the damage done by centuries of exploitation. As Earth healed and thrived, the off-world colonies grew in size and complexity. The lunar city of Armstrong now boasted a population of over 1 million, its transparent domes gleaming under the stark light of the sun. It had become a hub of scientific research and zero-gravity manufacturing, as well as the primary launch point for deep space missions. Jupiter's moon Europa had proven to be a particularly fertile ground for human expansion. Beneath its icy surface, a vast ocean teemed with alien life, providing xenobiologists with an endless supply of fascinating specimens to study. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, lead scientist at the Europa Underwater Research Station, was in the middle of a dive when his team made a startling discovery. As he maneuvered his submersible through the alien seascape, his lights fell upon a structure that was undeniably artificial. "Mission Control, are you seeing this?" he asked, his voice filled with awe. "This can't be natural formation. These are ruins. Someone or something built this." The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It was the first concrete evidence that humanity was not alone in the universe. What they didn't realize was that this ancient European civilization had been extinct for millions of years, long before the quarantine was put in place. As news of the European ruins spread, it catalyzed a new wave of technological development, aimed at deep space exploration. Humanity, it seemed, was determined to unlock the secrets of the cosmos, quarantine or no quarantine. In a secret facility beneath the Atacama Desert, a team of the world's brightest physicists was on the verge of a breakthrough that would shatter the boundaries of what was thought possible. Dr. Samantha Carter, her hair prematurely gray from years of stress and relentless work, stood before a piece of equipment that looked like a cross between a particle accelerator and a Tesla coil. "Ladies and gentlemen," she addressed her team, "after 15 years of work, countless setbacks, and more cups of coffee than I care to remember, we're ready for our first full-scale test of the Carter-Vishniac drive." The tension in the room was palpable as the machine powered up, its hum building to a crescendo. Suddenly, a sphere of shimmering energy appeared in the center of the device, growing until it was the size of a beach ball. "My God," whispered Dr. Carter's assistant, "is that?" "A stable wormhole," Carter finished, her voice barely above a whisper. "We've done it. We've found a way to bend space-time itself." Little did they know, but the activation of the Carter-Vishniac drive sent ripples through the fabric of space-time that were immediately detected by the quarantine enforcement ships stationed at the edge of the solar system. Aboard the Galactic Council corvette Vigilant Observer, Captain Zorn's tentacles writhed in agitation. "This can't be," he muttered, his compound eyes fixed on the sensor readouts. "They couldn't possibly have developed this technology so quickly. We need to alert the Council immediately." As the Vigilant Observer prepared its urgent communique, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. The Carter-Vishniac drive promised to unlock the stars themselves, but it also threatened to bring them face to face with a galactic community they weren't yet meant to encounter. In orbit around Saturn, the research station Cassini-I was making final preparations for humanity's most ambitious mission yet. The massive ship Odyssey, equipped with the first shipboard Carter-Vishniac drive, was about to embark on a journey to Proxima Centauri. Captain Alina Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "All systems check out, Captain," her first officer reported. "We're ready for wormhole generation on your command." Alina took a deep breath, acutely aware of the weight of history on her shoulders. "Initiate wormhole generation," she ordered, her voice steady despite her nerves. As the Odyssey's drive spun up, creating a shimmering portal in the void of space, alarms blared across every Galactic Council observation post in the Sol system. The quarantine was about to be breached, and the galaxy held its breath, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around them. The crew of the Odyssey prepared to make history. As they approached the wormhole, Captain Rodriguez addressed her crew, and through them, all of humanity. For centuries, we've looked up at the stars and dreamed of this moment, she began, her words broadcast to every corner of human civilization. Today, we take our first real step into the cosmic ocean. Whatever we find out there, we go not as conquerors, but as explorers and emissaries of peace. May this journey mark the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. With those words, the Odyssey plunged into the wormhole, crossing vast interstellar distances in the blink of an eye. As they emerged on the other side, in orbit around Proxima Centauri, they had no idea that they had just shattered a quarantine they never knew existed. Aboard the Galactic Council flagship Eternal Vigilance, High Admiral Xora received the urgent messages from a dozen observation posts simultaneously. Her bioluminescent skin pulsed with a mix of fear and excitement as she realized the magnitude of what had just occurred. So, she mused, the humans have done it. They'd broken free of their cosmic cradle. She turned to her communications officer. Send word to the Council. The quarantine has been breached. Humanity is loose in the galaxy. As the Odyssey's crew marveled at the alien sun before them, blissfully unaware of the galactic upheaval they had just caused, the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity and potentially reshape the entire galactic order. The age of isolation was over. Whether humanity was ready or not, they were about to take their place on the galactic stage. The question now was, how would the rest of the galaxy react to these upstart newcomers who had defied all expectations and broken free of their cosmic cage? As Captain Rodriguez prepared to send humanity's first message from another star system, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what these unpredictable, indomitable humans would do next. The breach and first contact. The Odyssey hung in orbit around Proxima Centauri, its crew still marveling at the alien sun that dominated the viewscreen. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the bridge, her heart racing with the thrill of discovery and the weight of responsibility. Communications, she called out, her voice steady despite her excitement. Prepare to transmit our first message back to Earth. Let's let them know we made it. But before her communications officer could comply, the ship's sensors blared to life. Captain, the science officer shouted, his voice tinged with alarm. Multiple objects approaching at high speed. They're not natural phenomena. These are ships, ma'am. Alien ships. Elena's blood ran cold. This was not part of the mission plan. Humanity had always speculated about the existence of alien life, but to come face to face with it, here and now. She took a deep breath, centering herself. Red alert. Shields up, but weapons remain offline. We're not here to fight. Open all frequencies for communication. As the alien ships drew closer, the crew of the Odyssey got their first look at extraterrestrial technology. The vessels were sleek, almost organic in design, and moved with a grace that defied human understanding of physics. Suddenly, the main viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The alien had iridescent skin, multiple eyes, and a form that seemed to shift and flow. When it spoke, its words were translated in real time by an unseen mechanism. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien said, its voice a mixture of authority and curiosity. "I am High Admiral Xora of the Galactic Council. Your presence here is unexpected." Elena stepped forward, her training kicking in despite the surreal nature of the situation. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Odyssey. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." Xora's form shimmered, an expression Elena couldn't interpret. "Captain Rodriguez, your arrival has created quite a stir. You see, your world has been under quarantine for the past several decades. A quarantine you were never meant to know about, let alone breach." The bridge of the Odyssey fell silent as the implications of Xora's words sank in. Elena's mind raced. Quarantine. How was this possible? And why? I don't understand. Elena managed to say. We had no knowledge of any quarantine. Our mission is one of peaceful exploration. Sora's expression softened slightly. Of course you didn't know. That was the point. But now that you're here, we have some important matters to discuss. Captain Rodriguez, I'm afraid I must insist that you and your crew accompany us back to Galactic Council space. There is much you need to know, and much the Council needs to learn from you. Elena looked around at her crew, seeing a mixture of fear, excitement, and determination on their faces. This was not the first contact they had imagined, but it was the one they faced. With a nod, she turned back to the view screen. Admiral Sora, we will comply. But I must insist on sending a message to Earth first. Our people will be expecting to hear from us. Sora seemed to consider this for a moment before nodding. You may send a brief message, but please do not alarm your people unnecessarily. This situation requires delicate handling. As Elena composed a carefully worded message to Earth, explaining their safe arrival and the unexpected complications they had encountered, events were unfolding rapidly across the galaxy. On Earth, the reception of the Odyssey's cryptic message sent shockwaves through global leadership. Emergency meetings were called, contingency plans dusted off. The long-theorized question of, are we alone, had been answered, but that answer had brought with it a host of new troubling questions. In the halls of the Galactic Council, news of humanity's breach spread like wildfire. Some members called for immediate action to contain the potential threat, while others saw this as an opportunity for new perspectives and growth. Zixtal, the scout who had first discovered Earth and had long advocated for a more open approach to humanity, found themselves suddenly in high demand. Their insights into human nature and potential were now crucial to shaping the Council's response. As the Odyssey was escorted deeper into Galactic Council space, its crew underwent a crash course in cosmic politics and history. They learned of the countless species that made up the galactic community, of technologies beyond their wildest dreams, and of the complex web of alliances and rivalries that shaped interstellar relations. But it was the revelation of why Earth had been quarantined that hit the hardest. The humans learned of the simulations, of the fears their warlike history had sparked, and of the debate their potential had ignited. You mean to tell me, Elena said during one particularly tense briefing, that we've been judged and isolated based on simulations and assumptions, without ever being given a chance to prove ourselves. Sora, who had taken a personal interest in the human delegation, replied with a mix of sympathy and firmness. You must understand, Captain. The galaxy is a delicate balance. Your species' remarkable adaptability and drive are double-edged swords. We had to be sure you were ready. As days turned to weeks, the crew of the Odyssey found themselves becoming impromptu ambassadors for all of humanity. They shared their history, their hopes, their art and music. They demonstrated human ingenuity by helping to solve engineering problems on the Galactic Council station. They showed human compassion by offering medical insights that saved lives during an unexpected outbreak on one of the alien worlds. Slowly but surely, perceptions began to shift. The humans were still seen as potentially dangerous, but also as a source of fresh ideas and boundless enthusiasm. Many council members began to argue that humanity's premature emergence might be exactly what the galaxy needed to shake it out of complacency. Back on Earth, governments grappled with the monumental task of preparing humanity for its sudden entrance onto the galactic stage. The quarantine had been breached, and there was no going back. Earth would need to unite as never before to face the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. As the Galactic Council debated humanity's fate, Elena and her crew worked tirelessly to prove that their species was worthy of trust and partnership. They knew that their actions would shape the future not just of Earth, but potentially of the entire galaxy. The quarantine was over, but the true test was just beginning. Humanity had taken its first, stumbling steps into a larger universe. Now, they would have to prove that they could walk among the stars not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals and friends. As Elena stood before the Galactic Council, preparing to make humanity's case for acceptance into the galactic community, she felt the weight of her entire species' hopes and dreams on her shoulders. Whatever the outcome, one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again.